Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Michael Corinthos compromise. Yeah. Speaking of Willow, she gets a phone call from Michael Corinthos. Rory Gibson. It seems that Michael is going to take Sonny Corinthos's Maurice Bernard advice and offer a compromise. Under normal circumstances, Willow would take the compromise just to get her kids back and to end the fighting. However, there are clues that Willow might fight back. Michael probably has a condition banning Drew from being part of Willow and the children's lives, but the nurse might reject that olive branch. The very next day, Willow stands her ground, then Michael shares news which shocks Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, and Sonny. Later in the week, more bombshells are dropped during court, and Rick Lansing, Rick Hurst, ends up making a confession. What is this? Michael Corinthos compromised the price of power, family, and the man he's becoming. In Port Charles, power doesn't come without a cost, and for Michael Corinthos, the bill has finally come due. He's been the golden boy, the responsible son, the moral center of the Corinthos dynasty. He runs ELQ with precision. He's a devoted husband to Willow and a loving father to Wiley and Amelia. But beneath the polished exterior, there's a storm brewing. A quiet, dangerous storm born of loyalty, betrayal, and ambition. Because Michael has a secret, and that secret, it may unravel everything he's built. This is the story of a man at war with himself, a man who once tried to bring down his own father, a man who made compromises in the shadows and is now being forced into the light. Michael Corinthos' journey has always been about legacy, but now it's about survival. And as the lines between hero and anti-hero blur, Port Charles is about to find out what Michael's truly willing to sacrifice. The son torn between blood and justice. Michael Corinthos was raised at the intersection of privilege and pain. As the adopted son of mob kingpin Sonny Corinthos, he grew up in a world of wealth and protection, but also violence and loss. His biological father, A.J. Quartermain, was erased from his life under mysterious and morally murky circumstances, courtesy of Carly and Sonny. And even as Michael climbed the ranks at ELQ and tried to carve out his own identity, the shadows of the past clung to him like a second skin. It was always going to come to a head. And it did last year when Michael secretly hired Dex Heller to infiltrate Sonny's organization and collect evidence for the feds. His goal? To have Sonny arrested and removed from Wiley's life. At the time, it made sense. Sonny was a threat, a criminal, and Michael had been lied to one too many times. But when the moment of truth arrived, when Dex's evidence could have sealed Sonny's fate, Michael didn't go through with it. Why? Because family still meant something, because he couldn't cross that final line. But just because he didn't pull the trigger doesn't mean the gun wasn't loaded, and someone else might still fire it. The fallout, a family on fragile ground. Michael's decision not to betray Sonny was the right move for his conscience, but the damage had already been done. Dex quit in anger, feeling used and betrayed. Jocelyn was furious, and her relationship with Michael cooled. Even Willow sensed something was off. And while Sonny never learned the full truth, his instincts told him someone had been gunning for him. Now, a month later, Michael's carefully constructed house of cards is swaying again. Because the past never stays buried in Port Charles. And this time, it's not about what Michael didn't do, it's about what he's willing to do now. The secret that could shatter everything. Unbeknownst to the rest of his family, Michael never deleted all of Dex's evidence. A digital drive, hidden in a safe in ELQ's private security vault, still holds hours of incriminating footage. Footage that could put Sonny behind bars for life. He kept it just in case. Insurance, he told himself, a fail. But now someone knows about it, and they want it. Valentine Cassadine, newly re-entrenched in the world of WSB espionage and Cassadine chaos, has caught wind of Michael's little secret, and he wants a trade. He'll keep quiet, maybe even help bury some problematic ELQ dealings, if Michael gives him access to the drive. The catch? Valentine won't use it against Sonny. He plans to use it as leverage over someone else in Sonny's organization, possibly even Brick or Selena Wu, to advance his own global interests. Michael is trapped. If he gives Valentine the footage, he risks betraying his father and reigniting the mob drama he desperately wanted to avoid. But if he refuses, Valentine could expose the original scheme, dragging Michael through scandal, lawsuits, and possibly a public family implosion. What will Michael choose? The ELQ pressure cooker. As if his personal turmoil weren't enough, ELQ is facing a quiet crisis. Tracy Quartermain has returned with a vengeance and isn't happy about the company's recent philanthropic turn under Michael and Ned's guidance. She wants aggressive expansion, risky biotech investments, political lobbying, even international energy ventures, and she's threatening to call a vote that could oust Michael from his seat as CEO. Michael is backed into a corner. To stay in power, he needs to court investors and allies with questionable ethics, people who play in the gray, just like Valentine. But every move he makes seems to cost him a piece of himself. He always said he wanted to run ELQ the right way. But what happens when the right way can't protect his family, his secrets, or his legacy? Is power worth the price of peace? The Willow factor. Love on a tightrope. Michael's marriage to Willa Tate has always been his anchor. Through cancer, custody battles, and Corinthos drama, she's stood by him. But Willow has changed. Surviving leukemia and reconciling with her mother, Nina has made her more reflective, more open to forgiveness, and less tolerant of secrets. She senses Michael is keeping something from her, and it terrifies her that her husband, once her greatest safe place, is slipping into the same shadowy patterns that defined Sonny and Carly. In a recent heart-to-heart with Sasha, Willow confided, "I used to think Michael would never lie to me. Now, I feel like I only know part of the man I married." What happens when she finds out about the Dex footage? About Valentine's offer? Will she stand by Michael, or will this be the wedge that breaks them? Jason's return, a complication or a solution? Whispers in Port Charles suggest Jason Morgan may be headed home, alive, back from the dead, and walking into a town full of chaos. Jason was always the bridge between Michael's two worlds, the calm center between Corinthos' loyalty and Quartermain ambition. But his return might complicate things even further. Jason would never let Valentine blackmail Michael, but he also wouldn't hesitate to destroy the drive himself. Michael may soon be faced with an impossible choice: tell Jason the truth and lose control over the situation, or continue hiding the secret and risk it blowing up in everyone's face. Jason may be the key to redemption, or the final nail in Michael's coffin. The wily dilemma, keeping the children safe. Through all the corporate chess and family drama, Michael's core motivation has always been clear: protecting Wiley and Amelia. They want to give them a better childhood than he had, one without secrets, one without mobsters at birthday parties and FBI agents at the door. But every compromise he makes pulls him closer to the life he swore to shield them from. A recent scene at the Metro Court showed Wiley playing with a toy helicopter, one that resembled a police chopper. When asked what it was, he said, "That's the thing that takes bad guys to jail." Michael flinched, because he's no longer sure which side of that statement he belongs on. His children never found out what he'd done, what he's still doing. Would they see a protector or a hypocrite? The ultimatum isn't the only one watching. Martin Gray, Olivia Falconeri, and even Dex have begun circling around Michael's orbit again. Something is brewing, and everyone feels it. By week's end, Valentine delivers his ultimatum. "I don't need the whole drive, just the piece that ties Brick to the last shipment. You give me that, and ELQ's books stay clean." "You don't?" "I leak it all. To Sonny, to the press, to the SEC. Michael has 48 hours to decide, and that ticking clock echoes louder than ever in his mind. The decision In a breathtaking cliffhanger sequence, Michael stands alone in his office at ELQ. The flash drive glows ominously under the desk lamp. The weight of the compromise is heavier than any decision he's made before. In his hand, a burner phone, one number programmed in. He picks it up, across. A voice answers. Familiar. Calm. Deep. Michael, I was wondering when you'd call. As Jason. Fade to black. Final thoughts, the man he's becoming. Michael Corinthos isn't just at a crossroads, he's at a reckoning. He wanted to be the man who rose above his past. But in trying to protect his future, he's made the same mistakes his parents made. The difference? Michael knows better. And that's what makes his fall all the more tragic, and his redemption all the more powerful. If he chooses it, the coming weeks will test everything he believes in. And when the dust settles, one question will remain. Can you protect your family without destroying yourself? Michael's about to find out. And poor Charles will never be the same.